So in this video, I want to talk to you about Helldivers 2 and how I think it's the best example of how games should be developed. And this is coming from someone that's been playing games since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, and I've also been creating gaming content on YouTube for over 10 years. And Helldivers 2 is in the top 3 for most concurrent players on Steam, being number 2 in the top sellers list. And it's doing all of that 2 months after release with absolutely no signs of declining. And a lot of games nowadays drastically decline, sometimes after a month, sometimes even after 2 weeks. And it's doing all of that whilst it's a live service game. So I want to go through, at least in my opinion, how Arrowhead Studios have done it. Like, why is Helldivers 2 so successful? So if we start with the fact that the game offers an easy 50 hours of enjoyment, that's roughly how much time I've put into this game, and there is still so much more that I could do. But that playtime isn't based on a £70 title like some games. £35 is all you need to pay to get Helldivers 2 at full price. So for the cost of a AAA title that's going to possibly be full of bugs, have loads of season passes and like predatory microtransactions, you can pick up Helldivers 2 for you and a friend, have a lot more fun, and it's the same cost for 2 copies of this game. But next is the fact that it's live service, but it's done the way that it should be. There are no really bad season passes that are going to provide 2 days worth of content every 3 months. There are essentially passes in Helldivers 2, but guess what? If you put enough time into the game, you can obtain the premium currency without ever spending a penny on it. And not only that, if you're late to the party, you don't need to worry about Season 1 being over and Season 2 shortly starting. You can select whichever pass you want to buy. They're called war bonds, but you can select whichever one you want, and there is absolutely no time limit to them. So you can go and complete them, whichever one you want to do, whenever you want to do it. You can obtain all the rewards in your own time. This game actually respects your time. And then there is all of the content that's available in the game. You've got your missions against the bugs and the robots at the moment. There's talks about other factions potentially making their way into the game in the future. But these missions have difficulties you unlock that reward you for the time you spend playing as you're progressing through the difficulties. But with that, you've got the war bonds or the passes to make progress through. You've got stratagems to unlock. You've got ship upgrades to purchase, which are going to make your stratagems even stronger. And that's without even talking about the gameplay cycle. That's literally just the foundation of the content that's available in this game. So what happens is you either pick a bug planet or a robot planet and you're dropped out of your ship onto the planet. One thing I want to add is when you look up into the sky during a mission, you can actually see like other stratagems and stuff being called in. And you can do the same when you're standing in your ship. You can look out the window, you can see everything that's going on. But when you're dropped out of your ship onto a planet, you have your main objective to focus on. And then you have a bunch of side objectives, like you've got bug nests, you've got crashed ships, you've got artillery, there's radar towers and things like that, but it's not just how fun the game is shooting the legs off a bug or stunning a robot, but it's that the whole thing is community driven to the point where PlayStation players want to get Xbox players on board to help save Super Earth. This is one of the only games I've heard of where there ain't this stupid fucking console war going on. PlayStation players are actually begging to get Xbox players to join the fight. And on top of all of that, you have major orders that are randomly chucked into the game. And recently, a major order fully eradicated a whole enemy faction out of the game. You physically couldn't fight the automatons or the robots at all. But instead of a big company running this game, saying that's it for now, in 3 months' time, give us £10, you can fight the robots again, what the devs did was they added the robots back into the game like a day or 2 later with brand new missions to take on. And when you're doing these orders as a community, they are rewarding. They offer up to like 50 medals for the war bond or your pass progression. And not only that, they add new war bond passes into the game with powerful weapons and buffs to underpowered things that the community ask for. Arrowhead Studios are not afraid of something becoming powerful. They are not always just nerfing the good stuff into the ground. So I'm going to say it again. Helldivers 2 is such a community-driven game. It's got consumer-friendly practices that appreciate your time and reward you for the time you spend in the game. They're not out here charging $130 for a single-player experience with season passes that require an online connection to play. And yes, I'm looking at Star Wars Outlaws from Ubisoft. I did a trailer reaction to that and everyone started to talk about the fact that it's costing so much money, and I even brought up in my trailer reaction that their season passes in a single player game. Some of the stuff these big companies do, Ubisoft, EA, Bethesda, Activision, Blizzard, like all of them, some of the stuff they do is absolute shit when it comes to being consumer friendly. But I don't think there's anything in Helldivers 2 that's anti-consumer. They've only charged you £35 for a game, and not only that, they have a premium currency. You can purchase into the War Bond passes if you want, but if you'd rather put the time in and just play the game, you can earn the premium currency. You're not forced to actually buy the passes. Now, that's if you want to participate in them. You don't have to spend real money. You can earn the premium currency by playing the game. But it doesn't just come with all positive. I mean, it's not all necessarily positive. Helldivers 2 launched with god-awful matchmaking. And when I say the matchmaking was bad, it was to the point where my how to fix video hit over 100,000 views. But guess what? The game, regardless of the matchmaking, still has over 85% positive reviews on Steam, and it still tops the charts every single day. But why does it do that, or how does it do that? Yeah, because they don't make excuses. They're a lot more transparent than most companies, and they are involved with the players. All you need to do to have a successful game is to understand the audience that's going to be investing their time and their money in your game. You shouldn't be out here hoping that you're going to get a few whales to buy your product and pay all of your staff wages. When you look at even recent games, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, I paid £100 out of my own pocket for that game, and as soon as Season 1 dropped, 11 days after I think it was, I still couldn't even participate in the season. There is a pop-up that gets stuck on my screen. I physically cannot make it to the main menu of that game, and that was almost 2 weeks after the launch of Season 1 for a game I spent £100 on. But going back to Helldivers 2, it's got 14 times more reviews on Steam. No, not a Todd Howard 16 times the detail. Helldivers 2 has 14 times more reviews on Steam than the first game, and both games have really high ratings. I think there's 21,000 reviews for Helldivers 1, and it's sitting at like a 92% positive. And I think overall for Helldivers 2, it's 85% positive, but the recent one, which is like 80,000 reviews or something crazy, is like 90% positive. Overall for this game, there are 296,000 reviews at the time of me recording this. But I strongly believe that both games have high ratings, players absolutely love them, thanks to the fact that the company actually cares and they know what their audience wants. All we typically want as players of video games is fun and a rewarding experience that's fresh and it respects your time. And that's exactly how games should be developed. Companies shouldn't always be trying to reinvent the wheel, taking years to develop their games, just to have them flop when they release with their big-ass budget because they've only tried to respect their profits and their investors. Companies should always respect the people that are buying into the product, because then it's going to have better ratings, it's going to encourage more people to buy into it, your profits for yourself and your investors are going to be higher. It's a win-win, everyone's going to be happy. But on that note, if there is any more you would like to add to this, then leave it in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and stuff about the topic as well. And I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.